Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR. Today, it's the man they call Meathead. It's Matthew Thomas. It's Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022. 2-2-3-2-2. It's a palindrome kind of
It's
week.
not the same. It's not the same, though. It's not the same as having all the twos. I like that one.
Yeah, what did you do for Tuesday, the 22nd of year 22 in the month of 2?
Well, I tried to seek out like ways that I could use it to monetarily benefit me and get like some
Go for
free
two
entrees
for Tuesday on the radio? Did you
or
get two for
something.
tacos?
Yeah. There's a few restaurants around here that were running like a buy one get one free because 1 and 1 equals 2, and that's how they could kind of do on the take advantage of the whole 2 thing. So I mean,
Right.
you're kind of limited with what you can do as far as the you kind of have to do something that involves.
Now, back in my single days, there was a couple times I took on 2 at a time too. So that's another show, another.
Two tacos, right? Two restaurant entrees.
Oh, absolutely. What were you thinking?
Yeah, no, that's we're talking about food and the great deals that I got.
Fair enough. All right. Speaking of deals, let's segue over to Collar and Elbow. Tell us.
Oh, if you would like to venture into the collar and elbow land, you can do it on 2-2-2-2-2 or 2-2-2-3 or any variation thereof. It doesn't matter when you go. You can even go back in time, and as long as you don't go back in time to a point before collar and elbow was created, or if you
don't
travel,
go too far back in time, because then they're just issues with driving into trucks that have poop in them.
Or hey, if maybe there's a collar and elbow design that you want that hasn't been made yet. Maybe if you do travel back in time and meet Al Snow as a child, and you're like, hey there, little boy, when you grow up,
all right, that was creepy. Stop there.
and make T-shirts. I'm just trying to give the viewers or listeners some options. With collarandelbowbrand.com, promo code Linda K saves you 10%. That you can do whatever you want to with, or you can use to further build your time machine. collarandelbowbrand.com.
You could go back and find ZZ Top because you can go back in time.
Or you mean Huey Lewis, right?
Well, Huey Lewis was in the original, but ZZ Top was in the third one.
Really? Okay. Huh. I did not know.
They played
that.
in the Old West.
Oh, yeah, man. I need to see 3 was the one that I've probably seen the least.
But it's got Leah Thompson in all 3 of them.
Yeah, but it's like 3 didn't do quite as much for me personally.
Fair enough. Let's do a little news before we get into NXT from last night. Positive news coming out of WWE. AJ Styles allegedly and reportedly has re-signed and signed a multi-year deal with the WWE. Now, the dollar amount, don't care. I mean, and that's none of our business really, but they're taking care of AJ because you know what? Honestly, AJ has earned it. He's earned it in the business when he worked for Impact, did the Ring of Honor stuff, New Japan, and now that he's over in WWE. Remember, he's the last person to debut directly on the main roster without having to go through NXT. AJ Styles he's a megastar.
Yeah. And I hope he gets paid like one, because that's somebody that you need to take care of, and you need to make sure that you've got them solidified in your company for probably the duration of their career.
This isn't his first contract extension. He had a contract extension already in 2019, and now that his deal was going to expire, well, it looks to be this summer, they've already re-signed him again. And that's, that speaks volumes to, not wait until the end of the day. Hey, do you want to renegotiate now? No. Look, we know your contract's coming up at the end of the year. Let's just get it out of the way. How about we sign a new deal? And AJ signed up.
Yeah. And did we ever think that, 10 years ago or whatever, when we were talking about Undertaker having his last match, that his last match would have actually, in fact, happened against AJ Styles?
And his last match, Undertaker chose AJ Styles. I mean, he's probably the best worker going right now.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, WWE making the right move on that.
Speaking of Undertaker, and we did that on purpose. Thank you, Matthew, for the setup. There is talk there should be only one inductee into the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah.
I'm not against that. Let's talk this out for a second. I mean, when Undertaker officially retired at Survivor Series, we all laid out, right? That's a term they use in broadcasting where the announcer stopped talking and let the action speak the volumes, right? We laid out for the Undertaker. Then it was the Stone Cold podcast. I think we lay out for the Hall of Fame and let it just be Undertaker.
Makes a ton of sense. And I mean, you got to think of, you've always got your person that's the main event into the Hall of Fame that's on the top of the card. But my goodness, I think that you just run the risk more than you ever have of Taker overshadowing the rest of the card. Not that they wouldn't do a great job, not that there wouldn't be a great presentation, but I think this is also, if you're kind of reading the tea leaves a little bit here, you've got nice. You've got because the Undertaker, I think it's what he was drinking on that podcast with Stone Cold, that special Undertaker tea.
After he had his kale breakfast.
I was gonna say, man, Taker, he's reading those kale leaves, right? But yeah, it's taking place after a SmackDown. So let's see. SmackDown airs at what? 8 Eastern time.
8 Eastern, 7 Central, live from the they're going to be in the American Airlines Arena in Dallas.
Yeah, you're going to go to 2 hours, probably get rid of any dark matches afterwards, but it's going to take a while to, change the thing for the presentation of the Hall of Fame. Man, all right. Our Hall of Fame is going to go live at what? 10:30 Eastern, huh? I think you're looking at a one-man induction, man. Because if not, dude, I mean, you're running that thing to 1:30 Eastern, which is not. I mean, I was there in 2008, and I mean that thing went long. That started with The Rock and ended
plus,
with Flair.
they have to get that show over, right? Because it's happening right as that SmackDown goes off the air.
Yeah. So, I mean, here, let me throw this at you too. How much typically in years past, SmackDown pre-Mania has almost been more of a recap show, right?
Right.
Like,
just
or
a
taped
live,
ahead of time.
Meet and greet and, hey, here's what's coming up this weekend.
Yeah. Maybe you do some of the pomp and the circumstance in the 2 hours of SmackDown, and then you plan on Taker actually taking the stage when it goes off the air, and that's your Hall of Fame, or maybe you have who inducts him, and then you get right into.
Why does it have to be one person?
Or everybody? I guess the entire WWE roster inducts him.
Why don't you put on some of his greatest opponents, or why don't you put on, if Paul Bearer was alive, obviously you put Paul Bearer up there. Why don't you put on, Stone Cold? Why don't you put on Shawn Michaels on it? You can make it a whole thing.
It's not an Undertaker Hall of Fame induction in 2022 if Bad Bunny's not there and or Pitbull.
Well, I mean, Kane, present. So I'll be completely honest. I'm all for it. I have no issues at all. And we got to get the Hall of Fame over, because on Friday night, April 1st, starting at 10 o'clock Central and ending when the bar kicks us out, when Gillies kicks us out, it's Kevin Nash Presents Shenanigans Dallas. That is happening, folks. It is live, and let's just run down the list of who is confirmed so far. We know who's in the holster right now. We haven't announced yet, but I'm going to announce the confirmed appearances. Kevin Nash, obviously, as the host. Uncle Al Snow is going to be there. Scotty 2 Hotties, SoCal Val, Renee Michelle. Now, if the name doesn't ring a bell for you, think Rockstar Spud's wife during the whole 24/7, Drake Maverick. That's Renee Michelle. Also going to be at the building at the party. Ain't I the greatest? Jeff Jarrett, Jeff, JARRETT. Uncle Eric Bischoff. There as well. Eric Bischoff in the house, and just recently announced and confirmed he's got something to wrestle with. He's married to a Flair. It's Conrad Thompson.
My goodness, we are just having, this is kind of like the Forbidden Door of podcasts, man.
Yeah. I mean, because you got Jarrett's podcast, you got Bischoff's podcast, you got Conrad, he's got a family of podcasts, you got PWR Live, you got all these other people. I mean, Al's done podcasts, Scotty 2 Hotties done it, SoCal Val's got it. I mean, again, I think it's a podcast of Palooza.
What you're telling me, you're going to have a Thomas and a Thompson in the building. I mean, that's a lot of THOs and M's in there too, and S's.
Yeah, but that is what is confirmed so far. Again, we've got more names to be announced soon, but so far that is the names we have confirmed. There's the different packages, of course. You've got your platinum, you've got your gold, and you got your other packages as well. Tickets are going to range from $40 all the way up through $279 if you do the VIP. The free drinks, the food, entertainment, and more is going to come with the bigger packages, obviously. So make sure that you're coming on down to Gillies. It is the biggest party of the WrestleMania weekend, presented by Sycamore Rye Bourbon And there's, at the minimum, it looks like 20 talents that are going to be at the party.
So what
Platinum
you're
VIP,
saying is there's a bourbon sponsor, huh?
Yep. Yeah. Platinum VIP gets you open bar, free food, reserved VIP table, a private server, a private meet and greet, autographs and pictures with Nash and all the VIP and official guests. Gold VIP gets open bar, free food, private meet and greet, autographs and pictures with Kevin Nash and all the VIP and official guests. The silver will get you meet and greet, autographs and pictures with all the official guests and access to all the invited guests. Silver tickets do not include Kevin Nash. VIP guest drinks or food, which are available for purchase. And what is new this year, you can add a drink package to your silver ticket and get an open bar all night. This party is super close to the American Airlines Center, WrestleCon, and most of the other WrestleMania weekend events. So come right after the Hall of Fame, come right after WrestleCon, whatever you're doing. Do not miss a moment. They will be allowing entry to the event all night long.
My goodness, that is going to be a jam-packed evening right there. And I mean, this is so. Let's talk about this SmackDown, and then you have Taker inducted. And my goodness, I mean, just come across the street to see us at Shenanigans. I mean, that where else would you go?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's exactly what's going to happen.
And hey, let me throw this out. Let me throw this out. Not to tease any names or anything, but think about who is going to be in town for Taker being inducted.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all of those people, and maybe Virgil.
Ha ha ha! Don't tease me. Don't toy with my emotions and my heartstrings.
Don't play with my heart now, babe. Oh, sorry. All right, let's talk NXT from last night. The beginning of the Dusty Cup for the women's side in the tag teams started last night. We also had really the setup for Tommaso Ciampa and Dolph Ziggler, and they put on a barn burner. Let's run down some of the matches first. We had Grayson Waller defeating LA Knight by pinfall. It looks like there was a little bit of shenanigans, pun intended, at the end when Sanga handed Waller something, and he ended up getting the pinfall. Your thoughts on LA Knight losing, but then afterwards telling you what, you're laid out and I'm the last man standing. Are they setting up a last man standing match?
Yeah, I think so. And they advanced the story.
Well, that's a pun right there. Stand and deliver, last man standing.
Oh, yeah. No, that's pretty solid there. No, and I mean, I think we were kind of scratching our heads a little bit with this Waller push, but really what I think this Waller push has done, it's turned LA Knight face, and he's, been that person to come in and basically rescue this reign of Waller over the NXT division. And my goodness, I think LA Knight's going to come out all the better for it. I mean, Waller got the win last night. Hopefully LA Knight comes out on top, in this feud. But my goodness, that NXT audience there, they love LA Knight. I think we're starting to see him really rise to the top consistently as one of the stars on that show. And my feelings on NXT last night were a little bit different than it has been on a lot of those shows. Yeah, there was still a lot of stuff. We had a lot of segments, but I felt like they were trying to A/B test stuff less last night than they've traditionally been.
They were doing the Frank Cosentino. They were doing the Frank Cosentino test. What do they call that? Temperature check.
Yeah. Not where did they take Cos's temperature at? Did he ever say that?
Cos has never let that video get released when he gets his temperature check, but we'll have to check in with Frank later down the road.
Yeah. Because it sounds like it definitely left an impression on him.
I wouldn't say an impression. It may have left a dent, maybe.
So, but no, like they seem to have found their footing more so last night than I've felt necessarily in the past. We had, we still had the vignettes, some that were a little bit silly, but it felt like a much more complete show with more familiar characters. Or maybe I've just gotten used to NXT 2.0 and the glowing lights.
I guess. Here, Women's Dusty Classic, Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray defeat Lash Legend Amari Miller. Lash Legend, I don't know what to say that's polite. Yeah,
we really have not seen a lot of her in ring, have we?
And what we have seen, I don't want to see.
Yeah, no, I think this was pretty easy to call here in this first round matchup.
Duke Hudson and Dante Chen. Your guy, Duke Hudson, gets the win clean over Dante Chen.
Yeah, got the clean win, and we're seeing a little bit of Duke Hudson's storyline developing. He's not playing his poker. Well, he might be playing poker, but not around a card table, that's for sure.
Yeah, let's skip ahead and let's go right to that. So, oh man, you got me with that one.
Man, maybe they knew what they were doing all along. It was just a little play on words.
You got me. It's Portia, right? Because I mean, you caught me off guard with that.
Yeah,
Portia just goes in and lets her know about his plans of poker. And here's the story that comes up. Indy Hartwell goes, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he says, "Used to not mind it. That was a long time ago." And poor Dexter Lumis did the Charlie Brown walk and
yes.
Hey.
Yes. It's not Dexter Lumis just staring through him like he's going to kill him. It is heartbroken Dexter Lumis.
Charlie Brown walked away.
Yes. Oh my goodness. This might be the hottest storyline on NXT.
Pete Dunne challenged Carmelo Hayes and Cameron Grimes. So it ended up being Hayes and Grimes versus Trick Williams. Grimes and Trick Williams, excuse me. But we talked about it yesterday morning. Linda and I did. The A champion, as he keeps putting up the Acclaimed have something to say. And you know what? They shouldn't have anything to say because, as Carmelo Hayes says, "Oh, that's cute. I don't really watch YouTube. I'm busy, being a champion." Because those guys were on the AEW show on YouTube. So, it's Grimes defeats Trick by pinfall.
Hey, Grimes lost last week in an excellent match. He gets a little bit of his momentum back here this week. Thankfully, it's his partner. It's not who he wrestled last week, so you can't really classify it as their AB booking. It's against the guy, his lackey, that they're not booking as strong as a champion. So it made sense for what Grimes got out of it, and it made sense in storyline.
Nikita Lyons debuts, and she looks like a force. Yeah. I'm kind of into it. The blondes are not really my thing, but I'm into it.
I like it, and again, a different stature than you typically have with a lot of your talent, and I think that's one thing that's missing.
She looks like a smaller Taya Valkyrie,
right?
Or what was her name? Frankie Monet.
Yeah, exactly.
She looks a little bit smaller, but that type, and I'm okay with it.
And again, there are different stories you can tell where you have got, people with different skill sets and different strength sets and whatnot that you can't always necessarily have when everybody is cut out of the same mold. Right. No, I think it showcased her like it needed to, and this was good, and it's exciting to see NXT kind of move the needle forward with some new talent.
Tag match between Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter versus the Diamond Mine. They've got a new female in the Diamond Mine.
Yeah.
However, Catanzaro and Carter defeat Paxley and Now by pinfall, advancing in the Women's Dusty Classic.
Man, I think there was a missed opportunity here. You really having a strong push with the female division of Diamond Mine, when they're representing the Diamond Mine as the male tag team champions. I don't think you've really that hasn't been done too much in the industry where you have any male and a female tag team from the same
I don't think it's ever been done ever.
No.
Because think about how unique it is.
Yeah, and I think we could have at least gotten a lot of momentum out of talking about that for several weeks if that was going to be the case, but it was not to be the case.
Well, it wasn't going to be the case when they were lined up against Catanzaro and Carter. Catanzaro and Carter have got to be the odds-on favorites.
Yeah, give me more of them in the ring and less of these vignettes at music festivals because, my goodness, that has been one of my big pet peeves about NXT for quite some time. It's just, my goodness, that has really given the whole variety show, my first wrestling show feel, and I don't think it's necessarily like, how is there the fact that they like to go to music festivals going to be relevant to anything they do in the ring?
Nothing at all. The number one contendership for the NXT title, Tommaso Ciampa, Dolph Ziggler. I'm sadly aware of what WWE does, and the second that Tommaso and Finn got the tag team victory over an established team like the Dirty Dogs, I knew 100% that Dolph Ziggler was winning this match. And I knew on Monday night that Ciampa was going to win because Ziggler was winning this match. Damn you and your 50-50 booking.
Yeah, but, we are talking about Ziggler with a crack at that NXT title. which I'm
Which isn't wrong. I'm just telling you, the results were already very predictable.
Which I'm very, very intrigued by. So here's what I want to see. I do not mind Ziggler with the solid NXT run. I don't want to see Bobby Roode down there too
Big
much
Bob!
because he had. I mean, here's the thing. Here's what the NXT. Well, I don't know. You can make the case it was different with Balor. Balor had a good return back. It hasn't done much for him on the main roster, but what I see when I see Bobby Roode down there is everything they have not done with him in the main roster.
Sure.
Balor was a little bit different because Balor, as short-lived as his Universal title reign was, they ran with Balor towards the top of the card.
It was a day.
Yeah, but still, you know what? It still says it in the history books, and that was the plan for a while.
And that he's the first ever.
Yeah. So a Ziggler run in NXT, I don't mind, but I feel really, really weird about it when I see Bobby Roode down there.
Big Bob was the cameraman that helped Ziggler get the win. Next week, we're going to have Big Bob and Dolph Ziggler taking on Ciampa and Brekker.
Let me throw this out there, though. And, like we saw with The Miz, like we saw with Edge, you got to think with everything going on with the Cody rumors, they probably told him to take a little extra time to take that disguise off last night.
Yep. But you had to know it was Big Bob.
Yeah.
Again, damn you, WWE, and your predictability.
Yes, indeed. And also, too, last night we saw headway made toward another big match next week. Gunther has got a new opponent.
Gunther!
Gonna take on one of the not that he's recognized as an Uso in storyline, but my goodness. Yeah, I'm interested in that match.
I'm interested in Solo getting just a solo push, pun intended there.
Well, hey, I mean, he's going up against one of the most acclaimed wrestlers on that roster, and
I need the crowd to continue to chant Walter every time.
My goodness. And the thing of it is, man, the exact amount in syllables, the tonality of Walter is something you knew they were going to chant.
Yeah, has to be. I need that. That's exactly what I need.
And WWE, listen, I mean, here's the thing. Them chanting Walter, that could have been a chant because the dude was so over and putting on such good matches. Now it's a chant because they are mocking the name change.
I think so. Well, Matthew, I'll never mock you, but I will end this show this morning, and we will talk about Dynamite tomorrow morning after a really big Dynamite coming up tonight. So, go ahead.
So what you're saying, we're going to have a talk about explosives, right? Like how to blow things up with dynamite, C4, and little cherry bombs and whatnot.
Yeah. If you mean explosives, I mean explosive diarrhea. And if you mean cherry bomb, I think you mean Joan Jett and cherry bomb. All right. For Matthew Thomas, the man they call Meathead, hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.